Lesson 2. La word de. Hello, how are you? Today we are going to talk a little about a small word with only 2 letters, but that appears everywhere in Spanish. It is la word de. If you open a book, if you listen to a song, if you hear your grandmother talk on the phone, you are going to hear de many times. It is like el glue of the language, la thing that joins las words. Let's start with lo most basic. La word de is what linguists, la people who study languages, call a preposition. A preposition is a small word that goes in front of another word to show a relationship between things. De has several jobs at the same time, and we are going to learn los one by one without hurry. El first job de, el most famous, is to say who something belongs to. It serves to show that a thing belongs to someone. For example, el car de my brother is blue. There, de my brother tells us that el car is his, that it belongs to él. La house de my grandparents, el dog de Lucia, el notebook de la teacher, el hat de dad. Do you see how it works? You put la thing first, then de, and then el owner. It is a very good way to say who has what. In other languages, it is done differently. First el owner and then la thing, but in Spanish, we put la thing first and de does el job of joining. Look at a curious thing. When de meets el, las 2 words join together and form one word, del. We do not say el car de el baker, we say el car del baker. It is a contraction, an easier way to speak. But be careful, this only happens with el. With la, los, las, nothing joins. La house de la neighbor, los toys de los children, el yard de las nuns. Only de el becomes del. El second job de is to say where someone or something comes from. El origen, el place where it comes from. Ella comes de Madrid and speaks several languages. I am de Buenos Aires. These mangoes are de Veracruz. El tren leaves the station at 8. Here, de tells us el starting point, that place where something or someone begins their journey. When someone asks you, ¿de dónde are you?, ellos ask about your origin, about your land, and you answer, I am de such place. That is la magic formula. El third job de is to say what material a thing is made of. I bought a table de wood for la kitchen. La table is made de wood, that is its material. A shirt de cotton, a ring de gold, a cup de glass, a scarf de wool, a bridge de stone, a doll de rag. Every time you want to say el material of something, you put el object, then de, and then el material. It is a very easy recipe. El fourth job de is to show el topic that is being talked about, what something is about. We are talking de la movie we saw last night. I want to tell you something de my trip. It is a book de adventures, a class de math, a song de love. When something is about a topic, that topic comes with de. If your friend asks you, ¿de dónde are they talking?, ella is asking you what el topic of the conversation is. And the fifth job, a very good one, is to say what role or what job someone has. My uncle works the waiter in a restaurant. That means that his job, his function there, is to be a waiter. Ella works the teacher. Él acts the grandfather in la school play. I dressed up the pirate for la party. Señora Marta came the guest to the dinner. In all those cases, de tells us what role la person has, what costume they wear, what function they have at that moment. Today I am a son. Tomorrow I work the teacher. El Saturday I go the guest to a wedding. Life has many roles and de marks los all. These 5 jobs are los most common, but de also has many small uses that appear everywhere. We say a cup de coffee to talk about el contents. We say at las 3 de la afternoon to place la time within a part of the day. We say el Monte e Julio, la city de Lima, el river Amazonas. Well, that one goes without de, but el kingdom de España does carry de. We say full de joy, tired de working, easy de understand. It appears and appears like a hard-working ant. And there are many set expressions with de that people use every day without thinking. The sudden means suddenly, without warning. The quick means lo same thing. La time in when is what happens from time to time, not very often. The memory is when you learn something without having to look at it. The truth means truly. The foot means standing, without sitting down. The knees is with las knees on el ground. The blow is abruptly. As you see, de gets into all las resikis. Now I am going to tell you a small story so you can see de working in its element. Imagine Mateo, a 12-year-old boy de Salamanca, a very pretty city de España with a very old university. Mateo is visiting at la house de his grandmother Pepa, who lives in a village de Galicia, up in el north, near the sea. La grandmother has a kitchen full de old things, a table de dark wood, chairs de wicker, cups de porcelain with blue flowers, a clock de wall that ticks very loudly. La grandmother serves Mateo a bowl de chocolate and tells-le, with that singing voice of the Galicians, "This chocolate comes de Mexico, you know? Your uncle Andrés brought-lo. Él works the sailor on a big ship." Mateo tries lo and opens his eyes, because it is very thick. "Grandmother, de what is it made?" "The pure cocoa, son. The cocoa and the little sugar, nothing more." And los two of them stay in silence, looking out la window, while suddenly it starts to rain very hard. Mateo thinks that this afternoon, in his abuela kitchen, with el smell de chocolate de México and rain de Galicia, él will remember his whole life. Let's go now to a curious fact, because this word has a very long history. De comes de Latin, that very old language that los romanos spoke more than 2,000 years ago. In Latin, la preposition de already existed, written exactly lo same, and it meant more or less lo same thing. It showed origin, starting point, separation. When los romanos came to la Ibérica Peninsula, ellos brought their Latin, and that Latin was born, over los centuries, español, portugués, italiano, francés, catalán, gallego, rumano. All these sister languages still use de or something very similar. In Italian, ellos say di. In French, ellos also say de. In Portuguese, de lo same as us. It is a word that has survived almost the same for 20 centuries. Imagine, a Roman from the year 100 before Cristo, and you could understand each other with this word, more or less. Another curious thing, in some Spanish-speaking countries, especially in parts de Mexico, in el Caribe, and in rural areas, people sometimes stretch out de in loving phrases. Ellos say, el son de my soul, to talk about someone very dear. La light de my eyes is a very poetic expression to say that someone is la most important thing in your life. Poetry and songs are full de these phrases with de, because de serves to connect the heart with loved things. Eso es todo. See you in the next episode of the Spanish for Everyone podcast, to learn Spanish in a fun and easy way. Hasta la próxima! And something more to finish with el curious fact. When a last name has de in front, like Juan de la Cruz or Hernán de Soto, many times that tells el place de where that person was or de what family ellos came. Before, when last names were not fixed like today, saying Pedro de Toledo was simply Pedro el de Toledo. With time, those de stayed with the name and became part of the last name. That is why today there are many Hispanic last names that start with de or with del. Quick summary before finishing. La word de is a small preposition with 5 main jobs. It says the who something is, it says the where someone comes, it says the what material something is made, it says the what topic is being talked about, and it says the what job a person works. When se joins with el, they make del. It appears in many expressions like the sudden, the memory, or the foot. And it comes the Latin, where it already existed more than 2,000 years ago, almost the same as we use lo today. Have a beautiful day, full the good things and loved people. See you in la next lesson, agreed?